feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no way.
All right, so let me just talk about the Gervonta Davis shit real quick. It says Gervonta Davis has spoke out about his fight that's now been ruled a draw. He said they took the fight from me and made it a draw because I did that bullshit knee, but I landed the most punches in the fight. He didn't even hit me with a punch when I took the knee. I get it, though. I shouldn't have done that, but hair grease was burning my eyes. If you guys didn't see the fight, Lamont Roach fought Gervonta Davis, and Gervonta knee. This is what happened in the fight. He took a knee.
That right, but Davis took off some of the steam of the punch, but still.
And by the way, I guess he did get hit, but it didn't look like the knee was in direct correlation to the hit. Look.
Oh, and that right, but Davis took off some of the
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I guess he swung at him. Actually, that wasn't a hit, right? That wasn't a hit.
steam of the punch, but still, Roach leaning with right. He took a knee. He took a knee.
And I definitely believe him that some stuff got in his eyes. Pause.
What is he doing?
He forgot his. It's got to be a knockdown.
What in the world is happening?
Took a knee. He's got to count.
I understand. If you take a knee like that, that looks like a knockdown. All right? Back up.
I think the ref thought that he was showboating. Right? Now, it was clearly a knee that was signaling damn near a timeout, which supposedly that's supposed to be known as a goddamn knockdown. It wasn't ruled as a knockdown. And I've seen some people trying to like validate it. They said, well, a knee is not counted as a knockdown in boxing when a boxer intentionally takes a knee onto the canvas, not as a result of being hit by a punch, and the referee determines that the action was not due to be knocked down, but rather for a reason like adjusting equipment or wiping something from their eyes. Well, I guess that's what he was doing, wiping something from their eyes. This is considered a slip, not a knockdown, even if the knee touches a canvas. Huh? Here's my thing why I think it probably should be called a knockdown, because it's one thing if it's a slip and the referee could say, keep fighting. You literally went over, stuck your, like, again, could the boxer have attacked you then? No, it's like a timeout. If you call a timeout, well, that's pretty much, there ain't no timeouts, my nigga. What you think this is? Like, this ain't no motherfucking basketball. There ain't no timeouts. Unless you're going to get a standing 8 count, or you're going to just wait for the bell to ring if you want a timeout. Now, he did respond to it because it was a draw, and this was his him speaking on it.
And she picked grease in my shit, so the shit was like...
Tank, you voluntarily took a knee midway through this fight. It was not ruled a knockdown. What happened?
I just got my hair done 2 days ago, and she picked grease in my shit, so the shit was like, you know, like when you sweating and things like that, and the grease come in my face, it burnt my eyes type shit. Damn, why y'all booing like I'm saying bullshit? Like, this is real facts. Come on, man. Look at my hair. I just got my shit done. But it's all cool, man. You know how I get. They love you and then they hate you. Turn around there and love you again. You know what I mean?
Tank, you voluntarily took a knee midway through this.
Okay. So yeah. And this was him during the time when they announced the winner of the fight. Let's see. By the way, this was a hairstylist. And apparently she clapped back at him after people were saying she should be blamed for this joint. She said, "Take a look around. You see an overload of grease anywhere? News flash. You're not whatever. Still ate those braids up, but don't make my girl look like the reason for it being a draw." So essentially, the woman is saying, please, because obviously people are now blaming the hairstylist. Like, yo, if you didn't do this to his hair, he wouldn't have lost. And he's basically saying, the woman's, or I guess the friend of the woman is saying, Let me look at the CompuBox stats. He landed less punches, but greater percentage. Power punches, he landed more. And jabs, he landed less. I didn't really watch the fight like fully, like from start to beginning, so I've watched a lot of pieces of it. It kind of felt like a pretty close fight. Now, if you call the knockdown, Lamont wins. However, I think the bigger problem here is what the sport of boxing is. The sport of boxing is pretty much a dead sport that lacks any type of promotional value because it's all to do with these promotional companies that are putting on these fights with these fighters. It really requires someone like Gervonta to sell tickets. With all due respect, as much as we're giving Lamont Roach all the credit in the world for putting in some work, and we see that he looks like he could hang with Gervonta Davis, right? By the way, Gervonta Davis, he got to stop the bullshitting. This kind of showed me this what separates him from Floyd. I don't know what's going on with him contractually, mentally, or whatever else. A lot of these boxers do suffer from CTE. You could see, again, I'm not putting it on them, but it's probably safe to assume. Look how Adrian Broner turned out. Look at what's going on with Ryan Garcia. A lot of times, some of these guys get in their heads and they start doing sporadic shit. I started seeing Gervonta Davis say he wanted to retire from boxing, which is like, nigga, what? He wanted to retire. He was kind of almost talking like his heart wasn't in it anymore. And I felt, and maybe I'm just like, giving him an out here, I felt he wasn't as prepared. And I think if this was Gervonta being hungry, I think he would have won easily. But he looked like he took a step back, not necessarily losing speed or nothing like that, but it just felt like he just maybe wasn't as prepared. Again, here's the problem with boxing. Lamont Roach could have probably been awarded the win, especially if you count the knockdown, which was not counted. But the sport doesn't benefit from him winning. He can't sell tickets. Nobody is that intrigued to watch him be the champ. Nobody wants to see that. People want to see Gervonta Davis because he has this explosive knockout power. He's quick. He's the guy right now. He's earned that through his record. And the problem with boxing is that you can't continue to sell tickets if you get the outcome that's just based on the eye test. This is why they say if you want to be the champ, you got to knock the champ out. You can't just outbox the champ or have it any type of close. That's the problem. Now, as a fan, when you watch this, and say, you might watch the occasional boxing matches, when the referees are ruling against what you see with your eyes, you can't get that invested into the sport. Now, it's a catch-22 because to get invested in the sport and also to have these big fights, you need guys who don't lose or you need guys who win all the time. That's the problem with the UFC. That's why the UFC has prioritized the brand over the fighters. Because as soon as you start thinking somebody is undefeated or can't lose or he's way above the rest or the other people within his weight division, that motherfucker loses. Whether it's Sugar Shane or whatever, whether it's what's the name, Adesanya, they're gonna get their ass whipped eventually because they don't get to do what boxers do: handpick your opponents, handpick the timing. Pick somebody who you clearly have an advantage over, and also have refs that are on the side that if it goes to a decision, they're incentivized based on the sports and based on the money that you're pulling in to make you win. That doesn't happen in UFC. In UFC, they're going to call it what it is, but what does that do? People like to see attractive stars. Like the idea of racing or sprinting got way more popular, right? Like the sport of sprinting got way more popular watching Usain Bolt just completely dominate. If it was a crapshoot where somebody wins any single time, it just wouldn't be as entertaining. People like watching greatness. It's like basketball. We have Michael Jordan. It's like if we're thinking about, what sport am I thinking about? The NFL with Tom Brady. We like to see one person, or we like to see greatness. This person is very elite. UFC has marketed the brand and given people what they want in terms of fights, but boxing is still based off the talent. So when you look at this, I'm going to be honest with you, I was not interested in this fight at all. So this fight, if I was going to go to this fight, I would have bought the tickets just because it's Gervonta Davis. So now if he gets his ass whipped, and now I'm like, oh, Gervonta ain't like that no more. Okay, maybe I pay for the rematch, but I don't want to watch this guy Roach fight until I know he's that guy. It's kind of a shitty situation. I think boxing just sucks as a sport. It sucks as a sport because you're incentivized, and we probably got to blame a little bit of Floyd Mayweather for this. You're incentivized to only create extreme mismatches that you know you're going to win, but then through promotion, try to convince people why they should still watch. It's not like a legit real sport where you're really just trying to fight the best people at the time that they're the best. Also, when it comes to boxing and how some of these guys fight, a nigga could be in his prime this year, and then if you wait 4 years from now, he's no longer in his prime. That's what people accuse Floyd of, to say, yeah, you kind of did fight everybody, but you fought them at the times when they weren't in their prime. If they were in their prime, you wouldn't fight them because you would have lost. So you play that game. So I don't know. It's kind of like a crapshoot, man. Gervonta did kind of look like he didn't give a fuck about this, and I hope it kind of lights a fire underneath him. Boxing needs him. Boxing absolutely needs him. Didn't Tyson Fury pretty much damn near retire? So, like, who are these people? Like, with all due respect, I don't know Gervonta Davis' pay-per-view numbers. I don't know if Shakur Stevenson or Devin Haney could do that. I think the closest person who could do something, pay-per-view numbers like that, would be obviously Ryan Garcia, which is, bringing in that Hispanic community. But again, it's incentivized for Gervonta Davis to win. I think Ryan Garcia is about to get off suspension. They could do that fight again to bring in a shit ton of money. And even if he loses that fight versus Ryan Garcia, we could see a part 3, which people would still pay for. In a nutshell, boxing sucks because there's a predetermined outcome that is heavily monetarily incentivized to the sport itself. And when you think about the judges have to be incentivized by the growth or the net value of these things for the sport if they plan to be in the sport. So, boxing sucks. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, let me see. What else? By the way, there was a bunch of other people, like, kind of reacting to it. If you guys gave a fuck. You basically got, here we go. Terrence Crawford said Mayweather took a knee to a hand injury, was ruled as a knockdown. He said some of y'all really need to watch Mayweather versus Hernandez and see Mayweather take a knee because he hurt his hand. It was called a knockdown and not from a punch either. Okay? So basically, he's basically saying that it should have been called a knockdown. Somebody else said, y'all knew Lamont Roach was going to give Tank problems because he came out with no Savage. It said, that's a scary human being. Now, I ain't going to lie to you. You know what a lot of people said? And they kind of echoed what this guy said, which is Swaggy P. They said, to keep it real, bro. You know what nigga said? Look at this. Niggas said they knew that Gervonta Davis was finna lose when he walked out, and he was walking out with the oldest YNs in history. Who are we talking about? Jim Jones and Joel Santana. Okay, Jim Jones been moving for the last year like he's a YN, and he's like 60. You get what I'm saying? He's the oldest YN in recorded history. So when niggas said, when Gervonta Davis walked out between Jim Jones with a goddamn scarf and motherfucking Joel's with his dentures. My bad, Joel's. I love you, brother. Don't get offended. They said, bro, these are the oldest YNs ever recorded in history. These are like fossils. Nigga, you know you ain't about to win. And I agree. Okay? I agree. But anyway, yeah. Devin Haney says, I was waiting for the backflip. He's known for doing backflips after wins. Ryan Garcia said, Lamont won that. I'm not calling that a knockdown. Is the wildest thing I've seen in boxing. The type of stuff that make boxing looks bad. Yes, boxing is a scam. I'm going to be honest with you. It's a complete scam, I believe. Condolences for the people who put money on Gervonta, because if it was ruled a draw, you lost. It's a Roach won that, should have been called a knockdown. Let's see what happens. They robbed that boy, and it's crazy. And then it says, Shakur shows proof he bet 5K on Lamont to win, to last all 12 rounds. He won 14K. So, all right. Okay. So Shakur actually bet that Lamont was going to last all 14 rounds. And they said now he's 30-0-1. He said, I'm going to shit on dude, blah, blah, but I'm still ready and willing to make that fight happen. All right. Bunch of boxing shit. What I really wanted to get to is Future side chick, bro. Have y'all seen this? Wait, should I get to that before? Oh, okay.